KNUS Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't agree with that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
Love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
And good morning, everyone. Peter Boyle's in for the fellows. It's July the 7th. It's a Monday. 710 KNUS, Denver's talk station. 92. The high today was strong. They say strong storms this afternoon. Sunny and hot tomorrow. And on Wednesday, record heat, 100 degrees. I'm in for the fellows, and it's just really been good. And good open lines and good fights. And here comes the man. Ladies and gentlemen, Blake Olson report coming up.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Good Monday morning.
Man, you know
Another beautiful one, Pete.
How many people want to fight? It's like,
It's amazing when you bring it up. See what you start.
yeah, no, you're
You
in
bring
on
out
it.
the best and the worst in
And the
people.
worst. The president has been known to attend UFC. We've been talking about that, and Dana White.
Yeah.
And so he's going to have fights on the White House lawn. Now, this really started Saturday. So I thought to myself, we could build a ring, and who would you like to see fight in Denver? And
I like it.
It just keeps getting better. So we got that, and the Jeffrey Epstein no-client list. What do you do with that?
Prince Andrew, when you see those pictures, it just always comes back to him, right? And I think, what was her name? Lord have mercy. She just passed away.
Oh, the young woman that they molested.
That story. She gets hit by
Virginia,
a bus.
Virginia, what's the last
Yes.
name, Adam? Guthrie, yeah.
Dufresne, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Come on. It's just horrible. It's horrific. And she was honest and just laid everything out. She was believable. I'm saying she's honest.
They all believed.
I believe. Yeah, absolutely. And then when you look at Prince Andrew, that's one of the guys at the top.
Let me read you from the BBC Jeffrey Epstein list, who is named in the court filings. I'm sure you're shocked. Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Michael
Shocking.
Jackson is named.
Yeah, I didn't see that one.
I didn't see that. Prince Andrew, of course, and the list goes on. Bill Clinton and associates, friends, they say, and alleged victims, 900 pages. This is the one initially, and now, no. Hey, he didn't kill himself, and there's no list. Well, where'd they get all these court papers?
Right, exactly.
Why? So I don't know. What do we do with this?
Are we imagining something?
No. Don't.
No.
You can either believe me or your lying eyes. Remember the
Wow.
punchline on that joke.
The absolute most powerful human beings on planet Earth.
Bill Gates.
As your callers have said, Bill Gates.
Bill Gates
Absolutely.
in on it. It's one of the
Yep.
reasons I think that he and the missus called it a day.
I think so.
He was hanging out with Jeffrey.
Hey, your fight. I thought of two other people I want to bring into town for your big fight.
Okay.
Because I've been following this closely, but Jason Whitlock and Stephen A. Smith.
Very good.
I would love that.
Who do you got?
Because-
Who do you like?
Oh, I got Jason. Just
Okay.
destroying him. Because there's no bigger grifter than Stephen A. Smith.
He's pretty good.
He is such. It's fine if you want to do that, whatever. But he wrote a book about himself, memoir,
And it's not true.
and none of it.
No,
Absolutely
it's not true.
none of it. And I have a big problem with someone saying they played college basketball, and then. And then the fact that they scored 1.5 points, they averaged and they only played one game.
Don't you
How
got to
do
be
score
a little
1.5
smarter than?
points?
Don't you got to
I
be
don't know
a little smarter than that?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
It was, so it's a disgrace. That whole story of his early life is just insanity. It's not true. It's not believable. Jason Whitlock has done a great job on it. I would love to put them in a ring together.
All right, there's one. What's your other
there's
one?
I've been thinking. I'm sorry, Pete.
Don't be sorry.
Yeah, no, I thought of that one, then I got a little busy. But I have the females that we were talking about, female fights. Yeah, now I can't remember.
Well, we got Lauren Boebert.
Yeah, we have Boebert. We have Boebert
versus the field. I mean,
versus the field versus everyone.
Yeah,
exactly. You talked about Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah,
and
they don't
Crockett,
like each other, by the way.
And they don't like it. Crockett and Greene. See, I would take Greene in that one. I think Crockett is a lot of talk.
All right, give me Greene and Boebert. Who do you like there?
Ooh.
I mean, they legitimately don't like each other. They started out as friends, but
I would say Lauren would handle up on her business there.
how about people saying Musk Trump? What do you do with that?
Oh no, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I'll go with DJT. I don't know. There's something about. I mean,
I'll tell you,
Elon's pretty tall. He's got the reach.
You got to read that Musk book, and you'll change your mind. I think. First of all, he's
right?
a lot younger. Yeah, his father used to take him and his brother, and they were like gladiator schools in South Africa. Mm-hmm. And the old man would put the kids in it, and they.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. Oh no.
Wow.
He's semi tough, and
wow.
I don't. I mean, I think I just in real world conditions, I'd take Musk in that fight.
Okay.
But Bill Clinton versus
man,
George W. Bush.
Gosh.
You don't like that one?
Yeah, I
don't
that
like
one.
that. I don't
to
like
me, you know what? To me, they're almost the same people.
Yeah,
now.
That's true.
I mean, it's just all that uniparty stuff.
Diddy versus anybody.
Diddy versus anyone. Absolutely. Yeah. I'll take anyone.
Do you buy all this Jake Paul stuff that these are real boxing matches?
I don't know. That's a good question. You follow it closer than I do. I would.
Tyson.
What do you think?
Tyson got $50 million for that fight. Do you think that he would go in and he'd lay down for? I'd lay down for $50 million. I'd lay down for a lot less than that. But he's had been building this incredible career, and then he fights the guy, beats the guy, and then they deport the guy. you couldn't wait.
So what do you think? I never asked you that. What do you think happened in that fight? Who do you think? You think?
I think they're works. I don't.
Yeah, they're all works.
I think they're works.
So.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. No, I don't.
Because Tyson was going to town.
That and Mike's
wasn't he?
as a geek, Mike's biggest punch is his uppercut. Mike could let an uppercut, right-handed uppercut go and just take your head off. He never threw the uppercut.
No, he didn't. That's true.
So I don't know if he won.
True.
I mean, Tyson's Tyson, but I think Jake Paul's working those fights. I really do.
I believe you may be right.
So we'll see what happens.
I'll trust you. We'll
see what happens. So anyhow.
All right. I'll do the news, and then I'll try to think of more bouts.
All right.
But I really want to see Whitlock and Stephen A. Smith. I really do.
Oh.
I think that would be a good one.
Face your accuser.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Exactly.
No.
That's exactly right.
Here's the fight. Bill Clinton versus Maxine Waters.
God.
I might take Maxine Waters.
Maybe.
Huh?
She would intimidate him.
No,
there's no doubt.
Scare me and I'm
scary.
fearless. Scare me. Yeah. Go get them. Here's the news and Blake.
All right, man. All right, news is presented by the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. Now is the time to stand with Israel. Call 800-301-1188. That's 800-301-1188. Or go to 710knus.com and click on the big red Stand with Israel banner at the top of the page. Our top story, flash floods have devastated central Texas, leaving more than 80 people dead, including 28 children, and dozens still missing. Rescuers continue searching, including at a girls' camp along the Guadalupe River, where 11 children remain unaccounted for at last count. DJT has signed a major disaster declaration and plans to visit the region this week.
I wouldn't blame Biden for it either. I would just say this is a 100-year catastrophe, and it's just so horrible to watch.
Are you planning to visit Texas, Mr. President?
Probably on Friday. We wanted to leave a little time. I would have done it today, but we'd just be in their way. Probably Friday.
Today at the White House, Israeli President Netanyahu visits, and there may be some good news coming between Hamas and Israel. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent this morning says there will be several trade announcements in the next 48 hours regarding the tariffs.
When he said that there's a chance that countries could boomerang back to their April 2nd reciprocal tariff levels, we've had a lot of people change their tune in terms of negotiations. So my mailbox was full last night with a lot of new offers, a lot of new proposals. So it's going to be a busy couple of days. But importantly, too, that President Trump has said that the countries would not go back to the reciprocal rate until August 1st.
47 says Elon's announcement that he's starting a third party is ridiculous. Trump on Sunday said it has always been a two-party system. Elon announced the American Party on X over the weekend. Tesla shares are down this morning. Heavy rain from Tropical Depression Chantal has slammed into North Carolina, causing flash floods and major damage. If you're planning on swimming at Cherry Creek Res, that is not allowed right now due to the blue-green algae causing irritations to the eyes and skin, so be aware of that. A man's body has been recovered from Barker Meadow Reservoir in Boulder County. The county sheriff's office said the man's body was spotted around noon on Sunday. And Denver police investigating a deadly hit-and-run crash on I-25. It happened Saturday morning. The victim was changing a tire on the right shoulder. They are looking for a black Toyota 4Runner with severe damage to the passenger side. Rockies beat the White Sox 6-4, and if you look at it, the standings, they are only 34 games back. 55 in Westminster, 56 in Littleton, 58 in Denver. The legend Peter Boyles in for Jeff and Billy this week. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Your 710 5-day forecast here in Denver this early Monday. Just a few passing clouds, temperatures in the lower 60s by daybreak. Then for the rest of your Monday, we'll see mostly sunny skies. The typical afternoon buildup of clouds over the west could generate a shower or thunderstorm with high temperatures topping out in the low 90s. Tonight, gradually clearing skies, lows in the low 60s. Sunny on Tuesday, highs in the low 90s. Weather sponsored by Colorado's Best Roofing, reminding you to protect your home from the harsh Colorado weather and schedule your free no-obligation roof inspection today at roofingcolorado.com. That's roofingcolorado.com. I'm meteorologist Patrice Sutter in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Morning, everybody. Peter Boyles in for the fellows. They're
710
back
5-day
next
forecast here in
week.
Denver.
They got the week off, and I get to work for a week. It's Monday morning, July 7, 2025. Good old 710 KNUS. 92 with strong storms coming in this afternoon. 95 on Tuesday and Wednesday, 100 degrees. Lines are wide open. We were jam lines in the first hour. 303-696-1971. The goofing on question this morning, we got answers to the goofing on, is who would you like to see fight? Make a fight. Be a bookmaker or be a promoter, a matchmaker. And Donald Trump, who has been known to go to the UFC fights all the time, he's been doing it for years. Most recently, he's now come out and said he wants to see some fights on the White House lawn. And he said he's dead serious about it. He's friends with Dana White. Dana White, as we said, introduced him at the Republican convention. So that was fun to look at that. So I narrowed it down to, why can't we do that? Why can't 710 do that? In fact, I'll read you, somebody made a remark about this radio station and the fights. And we decided Civic Center Park. We have a main event. We have to have an undercard. And people have come up with some great ideas for fights. This is the newest ones. Tom Horman versus Governor Polis. Here it is. Dropping the squad in together. Always talking about turn on each other. Totally bloodbath. Goes on to do other. Bill Clinton versus Maxine Waters, which I think was fun to say. So we got that as a sort of a running theme. The story that just I thought, come on. The review ordered by President Trump has appointed leadership in the Justice Department and the FBI. And this leaked email comes out, this document. And the FBI says now they found no evidence that notorious deceased financier Jeffrey Epstein kept a client list. And you could just, I got an email from a very good friend, and if I said his name, you would know it, who said, no list, my ass. Well, of course there's a list. And of course they know it. And the department also released hours, they say, hours, that will confirm that Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide. Remember when there was no video? You guys remember that? When there was no video, the guards weren't there, and all these things that happened. Now there's video. Suddenly there's video, and the memo is likely to generate outrage. You can hear it. You can read it. The claiming Epstein's, high-profile associates should be implicated in his crimes. Of course they should be. According to the FBI and the DOJ review, there are no further charges. Now, we know that this is from the BBC, Jeffrey Epstein list, who is named in court filings. Now, remember, this is it. In essence, the DOJ is ending it right here. Why? Here's from the BBC, Jeffrey Epstein list, who is named in the court filings. Names of people connected to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein made public with the release of documents. Who are they? Public figures, including Prince Andrew, former U.S. President Bill Clinton, along with associates, friends, alleged victims named, 900 pages unsealed in the order of a judge in New York. Michael Jackson's on the list. Wonder how he worked his way into that. But Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, and the list goes on. Bill Gates. Why? Look, I think that speaks for itself. Those are the boys. They're not going to mess with them. And I go back to my experiences in Denver Players and Denver Sugar. It wasn't this young guy who had just left city council and made himself the next mayor of the city of Denver. Had nothing to do with him. It had to do with the boys, the powerhouses, the movers and the shakers, the country club takers. Those were the guys who were going to these 19 and 20-year-old young women who were working in Players and Sugar. And they did not want any of that stuff out and didn't get out. To show you the clout that they had, I lost my gig over what I did, but I also in the face of the management at 630 KHOW at the time. They're no longer there, but they tried to stop me from having Scotty Ewing in the studio, who was the man in charge. There's a word that begins with P, for the entire outfit for all 4 locations. And I billboarded it all week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I said, well, I'm going to have Scotty Ewing in here tomorrow. And he was the hottest get in Denver. And he was going to come in and talk. I was taken to his house. I met him. And I got a phone call that evening from Dan Mandis and went down a list of people, including Pat Connor, who fired me eventually. And they said, we don't want you to have him on the show. I said, hide and watch. And that morning when I came into work, Dan Mandis was sitting in the studio, like a little, there's going to be a little radio cop. I said, if you don't get out of here right now, we're going to have a problem. And Dan adiosed. So I look at this Epstein thing, it's just what I witnessed in Denver Players and Denver Sugar is a microcosm of what's going on with the Jeffrey Epstein list. Also, for decades, pharmaceutical companies have shelled out big bucks to broadcasters to place ads between TV segments. And now RFK Jr. wants to stop, if you would, drug companies advertising their products on television. And what I found out was there's only one other country in the world that allows it, and that's New Zealand. So we have that to talk about. Bill Clinton versus Hillary. That's a good fight. Heavyweight bout. John Fetterman versus Stacey Adams. Whew. All right, let's go to the phones. We go to Brian in Arvada. Brian, thank you for calling the show, and good morning.
Hey, good morning, Pete. It's like old times listening to you in the morning.
Oh, you're kind. Thank you.
So this Epstein list is a joke, and people lie because they have something to cover up, but they lie because they think you'll believe them, or they lie because they know they'll get away with it no matter what you believe. And I think that, and this is the latter. The FBI is lying to us, and they know they can get away with it, and they've been doing it for decades. I mean, this goes all the way back to the beginning of our government, and it's sad because justice is never served to the people who deserve it the most to be served to. And it was the whole thing with the Clinton laptops and the shattered Blackberries. We never got the answer to that. Benghazi, we never got the answer to those things, and we never will, because the FBI, for the first time ever, destroyed evidence with the laptop thing, laptops and Blackberries. Since when do they destroy evidence? And this is the same thing. I don't know if it was Biden's administration that destroyed this Epstein list, or if they have it and they just want to tell us. We'll never know. But all these horrible crimes committed against
let me bounce it
little
off you.
Kids.
We were being told that we were going to finally get all the JFK papers. Do you think we got all the JFK papers?
We never will, Pete.
No, thank you. I mean,
right.
Yeah. And
what's the harm of knowing now, again, about JFK? The harm is
the lies.
It was us. It was us.
No,
it was our government that did it. That sanctioned this stuff.
My personal belief, that was certainly, who I think did it, but it doesn't matter. What I'm talking about at this point was when they said, well, that's all the papers. No, it isn't. And it's this is the same thing. You think Bill Gates doesn't have some smoke, some clout? Bill Clinton doesn't have some smoke and some clout? They are not even, you don't know who was there. And the pictures of Prince Andrew on the island with his arm around that underage girl, and now all of a sudden, I'll just read you a clip from it. Investigators did not uncover, I'm reading it, did not uncover evidence that could be predicates in investigations against uncharged third parties. That's verbal diarrhea. What does that mean? I don't know what it means. Do you know what it means?
It means we're not going to tell you the evidence that we have.
That's right.
They raided the island,
Yeah.
There was cameras. What I was told, there was cameras there. He blackmailed these people.
Yes, he did.
It was a major scheme to get money from these people and blackmail them the whole way. And they have the cameras. You don't raid an island and take everything without. And now there's nothing that can hold anybody accountable. He was blackmailing people. He had the evidence. Now we don't. It just doesn't make any sense. But they're lying because they know they can get away with it.
I got the memo. I want to go back and reread this one line to you because I read it like 4 times last night. I thought, what does it mean? The memo is, again, this is from the memo, FBI and DOJ review. No further charges are expected in connection with the probes into Epstein, as investigators did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. Is Prince Andrew a third party?
He should be.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Or asking.
Yeah, he is a third party. And again, this is, like you said, verbal diarrhea. It's so upsetting because I thought for once we might get some glimpse of the truth. And then, Cash Patel and Bongino go out there and they've lost credibility with me now.
Bongino looked horrible.
He looked bad. He looked like he was lying. And so I just believe that they're just lying to us because there's probably people that could hurt the Republicans. There's people that could hurt the Democrats. There's people that could hurt the FBI. See, there's a lot of people on that list that are probably go deep state.
One of the questions I asked on the Saturday show was the bombing in Iran. Was that evidence of the deep state?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it because that was it necessary? We'll never know. What do they have? We'll never know. It reminded me of the weapons of mass destruction in a way, but
same thing.
So that you're right, and so that's where I was a Bush fan until that came out. Yeah. Cheney lied, they lied. Even Colin Powell threw his hat in there.
But Colin Powell got set up. I mean,
he got hosed.
Yeah, he did.
He got hosed, but he went along with it. And so, to me, you're an accessory at that point. But again, Pete, when are we ever going to get the truth? Is this never going to end?
Well,
going to be lies.
Yeah, my part-time hobby right now is rereading Nietzsche. And when I tell people that, they kind of look at you funny. But Nietzsche said, every single thing he said, anytime the government speaks, assume it's lying, or it is lying, the government's lying. And the other one is everything the government has, it stole from somebody. I thought, you know what, you're right. Everything the government has, it stole. And number 2, every time it talks, it's lying. So when you watch something...
Have we come that full circle with Nietzsche now? Because I haven't read that since college. And
yeah, but
I think we're coming back to the deep state lie.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter what puppet's in office.
No.
The people behind the curtains are calling the shots.
But think for a second how many very powerful men rode the Lolita Express to that island. And then now you're his. If he has video of you, or if he has witnesses that you were doing what you were doing, he seemingly didn't care. But his client list, associates whom he blackmailed or conspired to victimize, that's what I believe, and that's what I believe this new memo is a cover-up for what Epstein's actions were, because you'll never know I don't know how much clout Prince Andrew has anywhere, but certainly Bill Clinton, certainly Bill Gates. Once you start down that road, the comments, the contract forms, these guys got them. And
what about his partner in crime, Griselle, I forget her name.
Yeah, Maxwell. Why is she still in the joint if he didn't do anything wrong?
Well, right. And do you think she's next? We'll ever get anything out of her?
No.
Or they've got her just shut up?
No, they'll give her a deal. And it's like,
To say nothing?
To do nothing.
To do nothing. Wow. Because she's our last hope of getting the truth. Because she knows a lot of things.
There's a guy.
She set it up.
She
set up some of these girls.
Oh, she recruited.
She groomed them.
Yeah, she absolutely did. And her father was a weird guy, and his death is weird. He went overboard on a yacht, and everybody thinks
she has a long history too with undercover stuff like that. I was reading about her dad.
So
she was connected too. And knew how to, and kind of I think she was kind of maybe a little bit a mastermind behind some of this of setting people up and how to blackmail people. Not that Epstein needed any help, but definitely she was a co-conspirator, and now we won't get anything out of her.
Do you believe, for all the money and the new car and what's behind the curtain, that that this memo that says there was no evidence of his death other than by suicide, and there's nothing in any client list that he could use? Do you believe that either one of those are true?
No.
Neither do I. Thank you, man.
That's sad, Pete.
Good call.
Pete. Have a good one.
Thanks, brother. 303-696-1971 is our phone number. I'm Peter Boyles in for the guys. Epstein had no client list, right? Make a fight, and then we're going to talk about Big Pharma. And I got a friend coming in to talk about guns and gun permits. 303-696-1971. There's two lines open. 92 the high. We got strong storms coming. It's going to be 59 tonight, so it's going to cool off. You ready to pull the pin, Adam? All right. Let's do a quick turnaround. We'll come back with your calls. Mamas and Papas. Monday. It's good to be on the show Monday. Peter Boyle's in for the fellas. They're back next week, July the 7th, 2025. Storms in the cast, and it's going to be hot. Phone number 303-696-1971. There are two lines open. We go to Stephen in Aurora. Stephen, thank you. You're on the show. Good morning.
Nice to hear you, Pete. I've been listening to you since the beginning.
Thank you.
There's a couple things I don't like about the pharmacy guys. And, I don't like this term either, when you call an illegal alien an immigrant. And I don't like it when you call a shot a vaccine. And if you ever remember watching any of those COVID shot commercials, they never had any side effects. They didn't. And you watch any other pharmaceutical thing, and 80% of the ad is discussing the side effects, but no discussion of the.
Let me go back and reset so people pick this up because the show took another direction. I wanted to do this. For decades, pharmaceutical companies have shelled out big bucks to broadcasters to put ads on TV and on radio as well. And these policies are being considered by RFK Jr. and they want to ban advertising drugs. And the ads, and again, your point's well taken. A lot of the ad is that real fast-speaking voice, may cause this, may cause that, and does that. But the drug companies, and again, it's only the United States of America and New Zealand that allow those ads to go on television. And if you watch the ads, and I made sure I watched a bunch of them, well, you can't miss them, this weekend, and it shows some old guys like me, and they're having a hard time walking, and then along comes this miracle drug, and then you see them, walking with their grandchildren, or somebody that can't sleep and shows them, I had a restful night last night, and and they don't talk about how these things are going to make you an addict, but so that's what he wants to do. Now you're taking that to, where would you like to go with that? Again, pick it up.
Well, also they go to the hospitals and push things at nurses for them to push, and because my wife was a nurse and she just hated the pharmacy reps, but I was still pretty irritated about the fact that they didn't put any side effects on their commercials for the COVID shot, because it's not a vaccine.
When you talk to people that know, and I'm not one of them, but who know, they say, look, there wasn't sufficient testing. Like, to come in with a vaccine, it's going to take a lot more testing than the COVID tests. And in many ways, they blame Fauci. And in a close examination, Fauci really doesn't come out as he was presented. How's that sound? But
sounds perfect. And why did he get pardoned? He didn't get charged with anything.
No. And there's people that want that. RFK Jr. could change how, and I read this critique. I got it in front of. Do I have it in front of me? Here it is. Talking about understanding why new Health and Human Service Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. wants to ban the pharmaceutical advertising on television, and then I'm compacting this. It seems unlikely, and I'll read this to you. The pharmaceutical industry is simply too strong. It spends billions of dollars on direct-to-consumer DTC advertising and lobbying efforts, i.e., giving cash contributions to office holders, and that to get the mandate that advertisers pose by forcing their ads to be longer, more expensive, bar drug makers from writing off direct to consumers. And it's like, I was talking to somebody last night and saying that if you take a beer ad and a soft drink ad and just either exchange the beverage or take the beverage out of it, it's the same ad, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, everybody's having a good time and everybody's happy and swinging on a rope swing or something. And what's the difference between a Mountain Dew or Dr. Pepper and a Bud Light ad? I mean, they're pretty much the same ad.
Well, just think how many hospitals are around the country, and they take the nurses out for nice dinners.
Oh, yeah. Oh, take them on trips. Take doctors on trips. According to what I'm reading, and I'm reading these critiques for a reason, but they hired beautiful young women to be the reps. I mean, this is the charge. And they became the reps to go see doctors, and they took them on trips and dinners. You're right. But
the whole COVID thing really, if young people could examine how it was Gestapo-like, shutting down any disagreements from respected PhD doctors, and the 6 feet, and the people were calling in death threats to golfers, the pro shop at Green Valley Ranch Golf Course, because people weren't maintaining their 6 feet while they were golfing. And I can see how Nazi Germany happened just with this tiny little thing. I mean, it's really tiny compared to Nazi Germany, but it was still the government coming down, blocking all forms of communication and dissent.
Do you fear that?
Well, at 74, not too much, but I fear for the grandchildren.
Yeah, no, I'm watching it, and watching the First Amendment and the Second Amendment stuff is the stuff that, and we're going to talk about the Second Amendment in the last hour of the show this morning. But man, I'll tell you what, I just wonder. Final question to you: do you believe? Do you believe that there is no client list for Jeffrey Epstein?
Well, Pete, I've been reduced to this. Whatever the government says, it's not true.
It's not true.
And here's how we can prove it. I would like to talk Donald Trump into giving his son $1 million to go out and disprove anyone who thinks there's a Bigfoot. And then the Democrats will come out and say, we believe in Bigfoot. So whatever the government says, I don't believe.
Good call. Thanks. 303-696-1971. How do you feel about this? Pharmaceutical companies have shelled out big bucks to broadcasters, including this radio station, policies that are now being considered. Well, now RFK Jr. wants to change that. And the policies would make it significantly more difficult and expensive for drug companies to push their products. Drug companies spend, I don't know, there's different numbers I've read, but $10 billion is the agreed upon. $14 billion is another number. The audience is spending that much money selling you a drug, and they are not. I mean, there's over-the-counters that they sell. But watch the news tonight, if you would, and see the network news and see how much of it is brought to you by drugs. And the answer is all of it. And they show, some old duff like me, and he can't walk, and he gets on this drug, and now he's walking with his grandchildren, or the guy doesn't get a good night's sleep, and then it shows him getting a great night's sleep. And I mean, all these different things that happen. And the drug is the answer. Now they're directly advertising to, now you go to your doctor and you ask your pharmacist. You go to the doctor and you want that drug because on television some old guy like you that couldn't walk now suddenly is walking, or some old lady that can't sleep, or anybody. They don't really show old people because old people are a turnoff, but they're, you know, like they're 50-year-olds and they can't sleep. Another night of and so they start eating. Well, they're Ambiens, and they're like, and all of a sudden you got a bigger problem not sleeping than sleeping. 303-696-1971. First time lines are wide open. I work this week. Make a fight. 710 KNUS. Morning, everybody. Peter Boyle is in for the fellows. They're back a week from today. This is the 7th of July, 2025, 92, and I guess some rough storms this afternoon, 95 tomorrow and 100 on Wednesday. I want to return to this Jeffrey Epstein bulletin or memo. This is to the wall, and it says, Peter, this is a big deal, the Epstein case. Remember the two black corrections officers, female officer Tova Noel and the male officer Michael Thomas. I do remember this. They were held accountable. No, that's true. Good thinking, Eric. For Epstein's death because they didn't do their timely roll call. I remember all of this. And which was the BS, and they got charged. And he goes, Peter, they were now quite as church mice. Yeah, true. 303-696-1971. This is a story that's coming down now. Rumors about Epstein's alleged client list have spiraled since the disgraced financier died while awaiting trial on sex trafficking, some believing he could implicate high-profile names in sex crimes. And the since-deleted social media post, billionaire Elon Musk has now said, without evidence during the fallout with Donald Trump last month, that Epstein files have not been released because Trump was featured in the files. The president has dismissed the claim, saying he had nothing to do with it. But according to the memo, now no further charges are expected in connection with the review. Quotes, we did not uncover evidence that would or could predict an investigation against the uncharged third parties. Well, who is this uncharged third party or parties? Well, then you go to the BBC, Jeffrey Epstein's list, who is named in the court filings. Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, Prince Andrew. Interestingly enough, Michael Jackson's name comes up. And I don't know what any of this means, but do you believe? Remember, Epstein dies by suicide. I like Eric's text. They were blamed. The department has released, hours of video. Well, remember, there wasn't any video. Eric's right. I remember that. So Pam Bondi, who's, of course, the AG, has previously promised the public the release of the scores of records associated with federal probes into Epstein. Now there's nothing, and the claim the delay was attributed to tens of thousands of videos. Really? In late February, Bondi handed out binders with Epstein's case files to pro-Trump social media influencers at the White House. Files that ultimately contained the little new information, they say. ABC News reported at the time. The move caught White House officials off guard and then outraged some supporters of the president who had been promised that more details would be made public. Do you believe that there was no client list? Do you believe that that was it? Do you believe that Jeffrey Epstein did not take his own life? And we're still talking about Big Pharm and making fights, so we'll come back with Blake Olson. It's a Monday, and then we're going to talk about the CCWs. I have a friend coming in, African-American woman, who's going to have an interesting take on CCWs. Leanne Wheeler will be with us. So let's do a quick turnaround, then Blake Olson will be with us. It's a Monday. I'm Peter Boyles. This is 710 KNUS.